Aloha Rifters! Welcome to Dream Dimensions 101 over at Rift Scene with Kiwi, and welcome to not Moonshade, the favourite of many Dimensioneers out there, but to Three Springs. Recently we had a competition with Tryon that caused a lot of upheaval, but it also caused a lot of awesomeness too, and today we're going to celebrate the awesomeness. And I wanted to show you Three Springs first in its empty form. So Three Springs comes with this amazing massive hall, massive whatever you want to turn it into. It's a great communal area. I'm sure there's going to be manors and mansions and homes. It's built exactly to the way it is if you want to head over to Three Springs and have a look. But what they've done at Tryon is removed every other little building that you'll find over in Three Springs and given us also the chance to be able to get mossy buildings which come via kits or you can buy them separately, and I have them scaled here on my Three Springs on Deepwood. If you want to take a look, Kiwi Midget at Deepwood, and look up Three Springs, and they're all empty, all scaled for you to browse so you can contemplate whether this will be for you when they release it. Release dates have not been given to us. Hopefully it'll be released soon. A lot of people are eager to see this one, especially dwarf lovers like me. And the exciting thing about this updated version of Three Springs is all the boundaries have been moved back beyond what they originally were. So you're able to come down to the wharf that was here and teasing us the first time and actually build around it, which is fantastic. I know that will please a lot of people, and I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody gets up to for their creations of Three Springs when it's released. Now I have a really special treat, and I wanted to share this with you and give you the opportunity to come and have a look at Three Springs, as we are going to be visiting somebody who was the winner of the Tryon competition for Three Springs Dimensions over on Greybriar. His name is Eightynine, and you're going to see how he's transformed this amazing dimension. So enjoy summer, and we're going to take off over there very shortly, and I'll catch up with you then. And here we arrive over on Greybriar at Three Springs, and we are about to meet the amazing Mr. Eightynine. Hey Eightynine.
How are you?
I am awesome. I'm so excited. Congratulations on winning the Tryon Three Springs Dimension competition for Greybriar. Awesome efforts, and already I'm taking it all in and look forward to looking around. This is called
I
Villa.
appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks. This is called Villa 89 over on Greybriar for everybody, and he's our resident cowboy, it looks like, doesn't it? So show us around and I'll ask you a few questions along the way. Like, how long did this take you to build?
Right at about a week, I received the dimension in the mail from Morgana on Tuesday, and I released it the following Tuesday. But in all fairness, I had completed my previous dimension, so I had a little bit of stuff in mind to make it happen. But as you can see, it's a very outdoorsy dimension, kind of like the Moonshade pools, and my other two dimensions were not the outdoorsy, so it was a good dimension to sort of try my hand at sort of a naturescape, your plants, your trees, things like that, which was a whole new experience and a lot of fun, really.
I love the windmill. Looks awesome.
Yeah, the windmill is sort of a simple project. Didn't want to get too extravagant with it. Basically just wanted to see if I could build one, to be honest, because this kind of dimension really calls for a good old-fashioned windmill.
Nice. And you're a user of Toolbox, aren't you?
Yes, I can't live without my copy paste just for my exact coordinate needs.
Feel free to lead me before I get too excited and dive into the amazing flowers that came with 2.3 and all of that stuff. I'm trying my best not to jump around and make people dizzy. This is the start of the less bouncy dwarf doing videos, if you like.
Well, let's start with the work first. These stairs, obviously, as you noted out, come with the dimension, and I decided that put a little work in the dimension, so put a little work inside the dimension. This is the Goulanite mine. Uh, those that play or watch the Tryon's Defiance game and show will appreciate the Goulanite mine look. The glow of the blue source stone is identical to the show and Defiance game in their Goulanite mines. Built into the side hill on the back of the top plateau of the dimension. Um, Pretty simple, just a simple mine.
It looks simple, but it's also meticulous. Like, you come in here and you know exactly what you're looking at, and for the Defiance players out there, they'll be pleased to see them represented in this game, as always, and I really enjoy everything has a place here. You can tell as soon as you come in, you're kind of like, wow, this actually, in its simplicity, is quite awesome.
Well, thank you. Like I said, it's definitely turned out quite a bit bigger. It sort of ran away with itself just because of the immensity when you walk in is what I wanted to get across, and it definitely pulls it off. And like I said, you just can't get enough of the source stones of the Goulanite, the look into it. Headed back up the stairs real quick. Wanted to show sort of the top of the mine. These mossy boulders. This is just a straight off cliff into the dimension, and so I constructed just sort of a natural scape across the top of it. I had originally put one of the nice mossy huts up there, and then I thought to myself, you know, I don't think they would be mining underneath where they lived, so let me change that.
Right. I've lived in a mining town before, and that's true. I can back that up by facts.
So this is the other side of the plateau. It's nice and flat for people who want to build on a surface like that, so I decided to give it a little bit of character and build up sort of a hobbit hill, if you will, and place the mossy huts on it. Different levels, different look, provides a great silhouette from the other side of the dimension looking around. Each one of the houses not too studiously decorated, just enough to make them homey, just to make them cozy. Wanted to save the item count for the larger pieces like the mine and other things that we're going to see. But as you can see, I definitely tried my hand at the trees and the bushes and put my green thumb on this dimension that I haven't really had the opportunity to do before, and I like it.
I am addicted to landscaping. That is my addiction right now, especially since 2.3. But I appreciate that you've used some of the older items like the bluebells here, some of the shrubbery. I like that you use the mossy stone, which is also a pre-2.3 item, and the blending with all the new things is fantastic. I'm loving that people are enjoying the landscaping, if not as much, definitely more than me. And even though, once again, like it's amazing, I hear you say simple, I hear you say keeping things, I mean, we always have item count on our mind, but your placement is really, really great. And considering also that you've been only back in the game since 2.3, as far as dimensions are concerned, you've only been building since 2.3, and the way you've gotten stuck into it, as we would say down under, is awesome.
Well, I appreciate it, and that's kind of like when you say, the pre 2.3 items and the post 2.3 items. I was lucky enough to jump right in when Tron expanded it all, and so luckily enough for me, I get to use all the fun stuff and never had to worry about the lesser item count of the dimensions and worry about not having as many items as we do now. This here is a sort of a staging area for the next bit. I'm gonna challenge you right here, totally, to see if you can tell what this is standing in front of me. Let's test this out.
Ooh, that is an amazing golf puck right there, and golf
There you
balls,
go. There
right?
you go.
If
Which
people
leads
don't
us right
realize,
over here.
right? If people don't realize, I never go into dimensions that I film beforehand. You get to see them first with me, so I'm kind of like in here, and you're missing out on my and look at this, and this is what I'm doing at my end when the mic isn't down. So I'm excited. This is a something to do with golf. I love golf.
And here it is.
Oh my!
You have your men's and ladies tee box. Hole number 1, marked there by the sign. And what looks to be about a 9-iron. You have to account for the downhill.
Downhill, right? Pretty much the way my golf goes after a few drinks. I've never played it without drinking, is downhill, so it's fantastic.
And all the trees, like I said, I just fell in love with the trees. The golf course was something that I wanted to build. I hadn't seen before. Um, it came out amazing to me. I completely fell in love with it.
Oh, I like the way you've done this. You've got one of the mineral pools in here. Trying to think what you did with this green, but it's fantastic. I'll let other people, we won't talk about that. We'll let people figure it out along the way and have a conversation with you. But I do like the use of the mineral pool. People are a little bit disappointed with them out there, but there is so many things you can do with the mineral pools and the terrace pools and the whimsical. They can be flipped, they can be turned inside out, not turned inside out, upside down I should say, and used for lots of different things like right here. But I love this green.
Well, the green is not a mineral pool, but like I said, if you want people to come and check it out, they can whisper me in game, and if they can't figure it out, say, "What in the heck did you do? How did you make this green?"
Right? It looks awesome.
But of course, you have to have the little sand trap. And like I said, I loved the first golf hole so much, I had to make another one. A little more of an island green. Use the bay.
I have to go down there. This looks great. I'm just imagining myself teeing off and heading around and beating somebody. Not losing, beating.
A little bit larger of a green to hit.
I think I know what this is. I'll keep that tucked away.
And of course, after any round of golf, you have to have the nice drink and bite afterward.
Once again, the awesome blend of old and new items. I love how you build everything, even though once you always say simplify, everything has a purpose. I really dig the trees as well. If you have a good time to play with them, pulling them down into the ground, making them go as big or as small as you want. The light plays differently as if you have a look at all the trees, and I love the way they're capturing the light here in this part of the Three Springs dimension. It looks great.
Well, that's one of the greatest things about this dimension is the lighting in this dimension and the greenery and the storm on the horizon. It's a wonderful nature dimension, and it just doesn't take much at all to capture, like you said, all of the lighting and just the atmosphere of this dimension.
And you found time to fish. That's awesome.
I did. The I didn't use the Bay Area as much as it should be used, but as you can see here, this is a little homage to the dimension that won me the Three Springs Dimension competition, my Dock 89. So, of course, I have to include a little sign with the ferry to go to Dock 89.
That is wicked.
But this boat here, and if you come out to the edge of the dock, you'll see a ferry on the horizon. Those are dimension included items, so even if you're not a fisherman, you'll already have a nice boat here to do what your imagination wants to do.
And my computer does what it wants. So if you cannot see it because I can't, that doesn't mean it's not there. Come in and have a look. And
There's a boat right here, I promise.
this one's right here. But if it has anything else on the horizon, because I know a lot of people wanted to play with this horizon originally, and there's so much to do, but you've really coming in at 2.3, you've obviously spent not only a lot of credits and a lot of time, you've also done the whole fishing thing, you've looked at all the old items, so you would be wondering about the crafting, if not doing it yourself too. I wouldn't be surprised if you couldn't, because this is a lot of time put here already, and you've mastered so quickly the art of dimensioning. I call it an art. It's also an invention, a science, an architecturing. That's probably not even a word, but to make it one today. all aspects of it. And that you also talk about light as something that makes me smile. That's perhaps the thing I look for most in dimensions for myself. So it's awesome.
Well, like I said, the atmosphere is everything, and as you'll see coming back up, so we can go check out the included building, just this simple row of trees. This just makes this little run with the dimension atmosphere, and this atmosphere just calls for nature, and it works wonderfully.
Does, and I'm laughing because I'm about the size of your boots, and I'm also laughing at your guild name, your pitch and roll. That's cool.
Hey, that's what we're doing.
Nice. So we've gone all
So as you can see, it's a big dimension.
It is. We've gone all around, and we've been able to take in the boundaries a little bit more than I had a look at, and people can still come in. They can come into your 3 springs. There'll be 3 springs. There'll be at least 3 on each shard. So have a look at those on your shard, and have a look at this one on Greybriar. I also have mine on Deepwood that's empty, so you can see it in its natural form. And we're back at this building, which is static in this dimension.
Yeah, it's such a great building, though. I mean, there's so much you could do with this building and its size, and it's double tiered. It's really an amazing building. I think a lot of people have a lot of fun with.
I love your message boards, the way you put them in some shape or form. I remember them being mentioned on the live stream.
I'm preparing for the day that somehow, some way, Tryon allows us to have message books and guest books in the dimensions to sign. So I'm just preparing.
This six prong has always been, for whatever reason, been one of my favorite things to look at in dimensions, how people use them, because they have so many multi-purposes, and that pot plant holder is awesome. Awesome is my word today. Ooh, look at this one too. So you've got the Kalari vase going on here, and then you've... We're going to have a look at that. For those people that love dimensions, they'll be like me in places trying to figure out how they make things and look at things. And sometimes I can sit there and just stare for hours trying to figure out, well, not hours, but lots of minutes trying to figure out what people have used in such things. So this is, what would you call this little area here? It's not little, but...
This is like I said, I just call it the Via 89. This is the main gathering point, the main house. Like I said, it's just so massive. There's just so much you can do with it. The fireplace is static, but the fire is not. I had to build a nice warm big fire for it and decorate the flute up at the top. The banners come with it, though, up at the top.
I I love the shape of this roof. It is so awesome. And this is what you are renowned for. This is what Doc 89 was all about for you too. And this is what you're becoming. You're like becoming a, what, 89 D'Angelo or something of dimensions.
Well, these are what people are calling murals slash paintings, whatever the name, whatever you would like to name them. The reason I like them so much is because they allow for a little box of creativity, and anyone can do them, and no two will be alike. So, no matter what you do, if you decide to get into the mural slash painting part of dimensioning, you're going to be original. You're going to have something that no one else is going to have, and that's what really got in my blood in the beginning of dimensioning, was wanting to do things original, wanting to do things that nobody's seen before, and that's hard to do in this game, as you taught me. But murals was definitely an outlet for me to be able to do that.
For sure, and like you said, like you can like even when you go into a dimension, they can be completely different. But there's always little things, and then there's for some people there's certain aspects of dimensions that will push them to the next level to try and create it, and that you apply originality as your motivator is not only evident, but you just really take it to the next level and utilize every item and item count. When you do item count, did you have to like eliminate a lot to build this dimension?
No, I did a lot of pre-planning. I actually built a lot of the major pieces, like what's encapsulated here in the mural of the mine and the golf course and the housing. I built all of your main players, and then go back and fill them out some more, if that makes sense, once I realize I have the item count. So I play conservative all the way to the end, and then when I say, oh, I have a few, 100 items left over, I go back and I fill in my creations to give them that just a little bit more of a pop. That's how I manage my item count.
Oh my, the Necropolis arch just took my breath away.
This very aptly and much full of pun named as Frozen in Time.
I love the little, what you've done with the little snowflakes there, the little, what flower is that? It's not coming to my mind.
Those are the puffball mushrooms,
That's
and
right.
I go for the frozen snowfall look.
Right, and this is Toolbox at its finest, creating, using the arch and in its symmetrical way or geometrical way, and that looks such a small structure, and I'll say small because this is a huge dimension, is exquisite, and it's things like this that people go look for, and they're like, ah.
Oh yeah, and like I said, a lot of this, the new 2.3 items, the texture detail on them is just immaculate. To where even if you do make little small things like this, they just come out amazing because of the items themselves. And so, really, it's not so much the artist's skill. Anyone can do it. Anyone can make anything you've seen. This, the murals, the golf course, the mines, and really all that you're limited by is what your own mind can create, because Trion's really provided a lot of good items and good spaces to build some pretty amazing things.
They certainly have, and you are a multi-gamer. You play to the top level in many games and have. So your competitiveness comes through via your work. But not only that, you're a guy. That's evident in your voice. And there's a space and dimensions for people that enjoy gaming at top levels, that have, it's not just for a certain personality, genre, or aspect. of the game. It's for everybody. That's what I appreciate learning with you. That end of it, which I like. I'm a competitive person too. I like to get involved in everything and see how well I can do it. Unfortunately, I can't as much in this game because of my connection. But when somebody like yourself comes along and takes Dimensions to another level at that competitive level, it's fantastic, and I'm enjoying your toolbox creations on the ground here too.
Well, any type of gamer can enjoy Dimensions. Uh, it does take a little bit of time, so you really just have to jump into it with both feet, and once you get into it, it's very relaxing. It's a good change from, like you said, the raiding and the PvP and the things that most of us are used to grinding out. I've spent an equal amount of hours in my three dimensions, and it's 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 peaceful, but at the same time, like you said, you can get into the competitive side of it, which that's sort of my driving force is I wanted to make something, but I wanted to be good at it. And I wanted to be, I, I'm not one of the best, but I want to be one of the best in anything I do. And so when I got into it, I wanted to make sure I got into it right. And I got into it the way that was comfortable for me, but at the same time, anything worth doing is worth doing well. And it's not as difficult as people think. It's not as time consuming as people think. You can sink a lot of time into it, but just a little bit of time here and there, and you can make something that people will enjoy standing in, walking around in, and hopefully soon be able to have some duels.
Right? Duels and interaction and taking things to another new level, which has been exciting to watch since 2.3. Once again, we're in a three springs dimension. Max capacity is 2000, so it's a large dimension. When you buy it, it's 250, and it hasn't been released yet. It will be released soon. The dates haven't been given, and Eightynine was one of the winners of the recent competition available on Greybriar to come and have a look at his dimensions. What are your other dimensions called, 89?
The my first dimension and the dimension that got me this one was Dock 89. It's on Shorewood Island. Um, just a couple of docks that I really put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into because they were my first. And learning how to do everything, learning all of the items, and of course, it's always going to be my favorite. Uh, After I finished that and the competition was ongoing, I had idle hands and got into the building so much I made Tower 89, which is also on Greybriar on this character, and has a lot more of the murals in it. So if that's what you like to see, there's a lot of good ones in there, and I invite anybody to just search for my name under the public weekly or public all time and visit and check those out for sure.
Nice. So look for the number, look for the name. 89 over on Greybriar. He is also available on Rift Dream Dimensions. Rift Dream Dimensions has changed. I am available over here at Rift Scene. It is one of my great place to bring you Dream Dimensions 101, and on the forums. 89 is also active on there, and on Rift Dream Dimensions I've pulled together a group of dynamic people that represent Dimensions in a way that's not only inspiring, but they're available and willing and keen and always encouraging to the Dimension community. So you can find him on Rift Dream Dimensions as well. So he's everywhere, people. Everywhere, everywhere, everywhere.
I'm hooked. I'm hooked to Dimensions, I admit.
Right? But this is the first time I'm seeing this. This is the first time I'm seeing one of 89's dimensions. I'm elusive for him since I've met him, and he's been inviting me a lot. But I wanted to see this first with you guys as well. And thank you very much for all your support out there. I am running an arena competition. If anybody is interested of winning 10k plat, jump on Rift Scene forums and find out how. Whisper me in game, Kiwi Midget, at Deepwood, and then come and find that out too. But Three Springs, it's all about Three Springs this weekend. You'll find them over here on every shard, especially this one, Greybriar, with Eightynine and Vila 89. Thank you for showing us around. Thank you for your awesome creations. Thank you for the interaction you have and all of your dimensions and the life and vitality you add to that Access XYZ, or that your pitch and roll. That cracks me up. I had to say it again.
Well, thanks for coming, and I do appreciate you looking around.
Cheers.